Hey, Star from Sweden. This is Adrienne from the Black Women in Europe podcast, your mindfulness activist.
Hey, it's your girl Kate Pearl, your truth teller and healer for justice over here in the UK. And this is our season of healing.
Of healing racial trauma. We were supposed to do that together, people, but that's as close as we could get. Yeah. So stick around.
Blooper reel.
Racial trauma. Ever heard of it? Let's get one thing straight. It is not just feeling bad or overreacting. Racial trauma is real. It's patterned, it's passed down, and yes, it's political. This isn't just some buzzword or theory. It's in your body, it's in your mind, it's in your ancestors' bloodline, and it shows up in everyday life, from those side-eye microaggressions to overt violence to erasure in the media. In fact, 2024 research from child and adolescent mental health shows that racial trauma is significantly linked to mental health struggles, such as anxiety, depression, and PTSD, especially in Black youth. This isn't just academic talk, it's in our lived experiences. I'm talking about how racial trauma doesn't just fade away, it stays, and it doesn't just affect you. It affects your kids, your community, and everyone around you. It's your girl Kate Pearl, and I'm here to break this down for you. Because the truth is, if you're Black in the UK, if you're Black anywhere, but yes, if you're Black in the UK, this is your reality. And whether you're aware of it or not, it is passed down through generations and it embeds in our bodies. Chronic stress, hypervigilance, cortisol overload, these are all the results of racial trauma. And that is just the tip of the iceberg. But we're not just here to talk about it. We're here to heal. And for those ready to dive even deeper into the conversation, I'm co-hosting a special season of the Black Women in Europe podcast, Season of Healing Racial Trauma, and it drops on May the 1st. This season is all about understanding racial trauma, unpacking it, and talking about how it embeds itself in your body and some of the practices we can actually take home and use to heal. It's available everywhere you get your podcast, so be sure to hit subscribe and check that out. If you're feeling this video, share it with someone who needs to hear this. Remember to follow us over here at Kate Pearl's Pearls for more straight talk on racial trauma, healing and building resilience. We're just getting started. Let's heal.
It's so on time. I feel so tired.
Oh, yes. And I think, you know what, same. I've been feeling pretty fatigued lately, but you know, rest is resistance, people. Rest is resistance. And it's actually necessary. You know, it's not self-indulgent. It might be slightly, but who the fuck cares? So what? I mean, when I suppose the image of us, and I'm, to the world, and I'm going to go into a little bit about, why healing is actually political. I've said it. Rest is resistance was not my original phrase, by the way. I robbed that from Trisha Hersey, her book of the same name, which is kind of like
classic book, huh? You recommend
it? Bible for me. I recommend it. You've got to read it. So Trisha Hersey, Rest is Resistance. And yeah, we're going to talk about why healing is political. That might feel like a slightly heavy place to begin, but stay with me, because for marginalised communities, especially Black people, absolutely Black women in Britain, across the world, across the diaspora, healing's never just been a personal journey. It's been a response to systems that have been designed to break us. So colonialism, slavery, racism. We could add more there. We've got classism, xenophobia, all the isms you can think of. And kind of the world's relationship with Blackness is rooted in extraction, if we're going to look at it in another way, of resources, of bodies, of labor, and of spirit. So when we talk about healing and crucially resting, we're talking about repairing damage done not just by individuals, but also by institutions. Yeah?
Oh, for sure. I mean, because when you say that, when we talk about Black women in general, we're not supposed to, if we're not working, our value is always seen in what we can produce, 100%. Right?
Yeah.
So that means if you're only valuable when you can produce, there is no such thing as rest.
That part, or worse, there's this kind of thought, whether that's something that's ingrained or whether that's someone else's opinion of you, that somehow your need for rest is somehow self-indulgent or selfish. I think we probably feel that or get it more. I want to
talk about self-indulgent, Because why is that a bad thing? I don't know. Society made it seem as if that's a bad thing, and it's not. Like you say, it's what do you say in your TikTok? It's self-sabotage if you're not self-indulgent at some point.
100%. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And well, society's, I think women overall, we weren't really meant to do things like, look after ourselves in the scheme of things. Black women, absolutely not. And I think between the programming, the conditioning that's coming externally, we've talked about how we internalize this stuff as well. Yeah, like, somehow being selfish is this bad thing, but it's actually not. You cannot be eternally selfless, and you cannot pour from an empty cup, and you can't pour into you. Then how in the fuck are you going to pour into anyone else?
And you
That's
know what? Yeah, I had a conversation with this sister. She's from Trinidad. She's in London. She's a yoga teacher, and she said something up because I know that, we know we have to fill our cup. But she said something to me. I want to see if I can paraphrase her. She said, if your cup's not full, every interaction you have with other people, you're going to be trying to fill your cup.
Mm.
And the way, yeah, and I was like, wow, so that means, so every interaction you're looking for what you can get from somewhere else, and that can be on so many different levels. And that leads to frustration, and the other person doesn't know what the heck is going on,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
Because
And resentment.
they can never give enough, or they can never do the right thing if you're looking, because your cup isn't full, if you're looking to get what you need from somebody else or anyone else. And isn't that true that only we can fill our own cups?
Yeah, 100%, 100%. And rest is essential to it's essential to sustaining, and it's essential to sustainable operating across life. Yeah. And it's also essential to sustainable resistance work. Yeah, rest being resistance. Rest isn't laziness. It's rebellion in a system that treats us often as we're disposable. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, isn't that one thing white supremacy hates, is to see Black people with their feet up?
Oh
What do
yeah.
they call us? Lazy,
Lazy. Yeah.
shiftless.
Uppity. All sorts. Capitalism and white supremacy both thrive when we're burnt out, fragmented, and depleted. Yeah.
That's right. No, that's right, because that's the goal of capitalism to an extent, is to exploit everything until it's all gone.
That part. That part. Constant extraction.
Yeah. And that means in a sense, that's our labor. And they literally, when we were slaves, it literally used to work us to death. Literally.
Yeah.
Literally work you to death.
Yeah.
So
Definitely.
yeah, literally working to death. And if you think about it, I mean, they took better care of their pets.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So yeah, the idea of rest. Now, okay, two personal examples for me. You and I have a regular recording schedule, and I think it was last week, I begged off because I was just really tired. And you were so gracious, and you said that's revolutionary, girl, get your rest. But I have to tell you, even though I did that to what I did that, even though I can't even say it right without like I did something or confessed it, or even when I was honest with myself and said, you're not going to do you're not doing Kate, you're not going to do Kate any justice showing up tired. I still felt bad. Like I was letting you down,
I
screwing you
know
over.
that from your emails. I could sniff it in the language, and I was just sending you so many good vibes and peace from across the pond.
And they were so well received, so well received, and moved me emotionally, seriously.
Yeah.
But I still feel that like you gotta just do it
anyway. You have to do it. And the thing is, like, when we rest, we say, even if we struggle with it, as much like you've illustrated with your personal story, I can think of countless times where that's been me. But when we say, like, I need to rest, I am worthy without producing, without proving, and without performing. Like that refusal is resistance, even if it was really uncomfortable in your gut, and it'll take a while. It's going to take practice. At the end of the day, rest is what sustains the long haul. And I love what you just said. You weren't going to do any justice rocking up last week, absolutely exhausted, going through loads of different things. just needing to just drop out for the day. Because without rest, that's what happens. We burn out, or eventually we drop out. And the thing is, with rest, we can actually build movements that last.
And you know what? I know all of this to my gut, and I rested maybe 15 minutes, and then I started doing some other work.
You
But it
went
was a
back to
type
work,
of,
weren't you?
I
I
was
remember you telling me.
I was like a back to work checking email. You're like, oh my God. But it's the type of thing where it didn't require me to be dressed,
Mm-hmm.
perky. It was the type of little stuff that it's like, okay, I can do this and just be like, okay, da, 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 da. It's not a lot of energy work. But it was necessary. So I still need to learn how to just take that. If you cancel something because you want to rest, honor that and take that full time for myself. And I didn't do that, but it's okay because I knew enough to know that I couldn't live up to the obligation I had with you to show up that way. So I was able to do some other work for us that I thought like, but I got to and I am surprised because I'm realizing that now. I couldn't even take that full hour. I
Yeah.
took about 15 minutes. So how do we learn? What have you learned about, because you're a doer, always doing stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I do. I still struggle with it. But honestly, like if I need a nap these days, I take one. And what I've actually started doing, I use this right for work, but also and for rest. I will set myself a timer for 55 minutes. It sounds less intimidating than a full hour to me because I realized that as much as I've tried, similar to you, that full hour, we weren't quite doing it right. I'll set a 55-minute timer, and that timer will be for a lie down. And it doesn't matter if I'm shutting my eyes, only that I'm letting my body shut down enough. If I need to go for longer than that 55 minutes, I will set another one. Yeah.
Wow. I love
Things
that.
like
So
that.
okay, so what's rest for you? Do you have relaxing music or do you want silence? Like it
Yeah.
depends. It could be different.
It's a combo of things, but yeah, peace is always a big one for me. Just quiet everything and everyone, and I'm really lucky like that as well, in the sense that in my household, we are all really quite peaceful, so it's not like noisy most of the time. Definitely, it's more that I'm off my feet, and it's something that I'm learning more recently in the last few months, because I was always literally on them, like going somewhere, move it, like felt like I had to do it almost to the point, yeah, it probably was unhealthy, but I'm actually learning now how to just put my feet up. And just put my feet up. If I've got a book, I've usually got a book, but I don't force myself if it's rest. Like it's kind of like I don't need the book, but it's there if I want to pick it up. But it's just actually, I love that you asked that, because it's actually recent things that I'm just teaching my body to do. Like actually just sit down, feet up, lie down, and set a timer. Like you dedicate yourself in everything else that you're constantly doing or producing or providing or proving. You owe yourself that much. And I just have that like chat with myself. I suppose it's kind of stern at times, but it has to be. And it's really working. It's really working for me.
Well, one thing, I'm so glad you said that. And I like the timer. And it reminds me because I have a sauna bag. I invested into a sauna bag. I don't know how I lived without it. I had it probably in a box for 2 years before I tried it. And I said, how was I? So I can retreat into that. It has a timer, max timer, 60 minutes. Girl, sometimes I'll push that thing 3 times in a row to keep going.
Yes.
But
Yes.
I could also just get in there for 15 minutes and it's like, okay. So you're right. I've got these tools and these opportunities. It's a matter of, I do believe I deserve it. It's just a matter of mentally or literally, maybe, do you schedule it in your day or you go by when you feel it, you need it?
So I mean, unless I've got to, I don't tend to do things by the matrix clock, as it were. Okay, I mean, I actually believe that the Mayans probably got time the more correct than anybody. That could be a whole other episode. So it's not that I have to do it by a certain time. It's just that I leave time to do it. And these 55-minute sprints have been everything for it, because for me, like I say, unless I have to, like, I'm diligent, I'm responsible. If I've got to be at an appointment, a school pickup, a college, whatever, a work, a job, I'm there on those times. Yeah. But on those times where I don't necessarily have to say, okay, so by 12 o'clock, you've had a nap, or by, you know, 1 o'clock you've done this and this. I just set my timer, and I think the short answer is, yeah, as I feel it. And I found that to be, one, way more doable, but two, it also actually is me listening to my clock and my body and giving it what it needs when it needs it. If that makes
And
sense.
you said, it makes beautiful sense, and I want to explore that some more, because you said something I thought was brilliant. You said, I don't, what did you say? You said
I
you
basically
don't
don't do things by the matrix clock. I barely acknowledge the passing of time. I definitely
No,
don't
but
take
it was something that
curfews.
you said, that there was something that you said that is quotable. You said, I don't set a time for it, but I make sure I have time. Something, do you
Yeah.
remember?
So I don't set a time for it, but I make sure that I leave time for it. Yeah, or that I allow time for it. I can't remember exactly the word, but I'm paraphrasing it now.
I'm going to go back to, because we've got it on tape, and I'm going to pull the quote out, because that's a brilliant quote, and that's, you need to be credited for that, because that was brilliant, and to me it was like an epiphany. It's like, okay, so for me, that can mean a lot of things. Don't jam pack your schedule, right? So
Yeah,
that you don't
time.
have wiggle room for time to acknowledge when you're tired,
Yeah,
time to be spontaneous, or
exactly.
time for just time,
Yeah, and
right?
just time to be. We forget the just being part, which is why I'm such a big fan of silence and peace. Just be. Yeah.
And I love how you said you have a calm household. I grew up in a calm household. The noisiest thing would be, my dad blasting the opera or some type of
Yeah.
music, because both my parents were musicians, but totally calm. And then I remember visiting my aunt, my mother's family in Chicago, and it was like, but they were boys too. We were two girls. They were boys. Boys are noisy.
Yeah. Yeah, this is true.
Four of them, four of them, they're noisy. But I appreciate a calm household.
Mm.
So it's good that you set the tone for calm. So it's not like you have to be like, okay, everybody be quiet so I can have some
Yeah.
peace.
Exactly. And it's similar, like you said, okay, so it was blasting opera. Yeah, we can blast music and stuff like that. But like, yeah, like we're just not, things don't have to be on all the time, peaceful. I'm just saying it's probably like a little middle ground there. But yeah, like it doesn't have to be on all the time. And we've kind of rooted ourselves or grounded ourselves in that as a family and a household. So
And
that's
I
a good.
wanted to focus on that, because if we're talking about rest, we know it's revolutionary. We know it's resistance. Um, we have to make sure that our environments are conducive to rest.
Absolutely. Yes.
So you may not be in control of your household. You could be in a shared living existence, but I do believe you can find a little space within your space that can be your space that you can go to and say, here's where I go to get rest. What do you think
Mm.
about that? Because not
Yeah.
everyone is lucky enough like us maybe to be controlling, our environments. But
Yeah.
if you have some space that is your space, and it could be like, okay, this is my little pillow, my little meditation pillow that I sit on or that I hold, or this is
Yeah.
the little place where I can sit and look out the window. Like, I
Yeah.
don't
Just
want
keep
people to
that
feel like,
simple. Yeah.
keep it simple. I wanted to make sure that, be clear that what you're offering is accessible,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. Even if it is like, I mean, I've lived in like sort of more shared households. I just had little corner perches. I'd even just put a pillow on the floor in a corner, just something that simple. Just as a little bit of space and zone out. Just totally zone out.
And it also signals to your mind, this is my space, and it's time for me to go into that place of rest.
Yeah.
Because we react. We know, we see some. We're like that. We know that when we see certain things, it's time to do certain things, or when we're in certain places or positions, we act a certain way. So
Yeah.
okay, I'm going to my little quiet corner. I can sit down. I leave my phone on the other side of the room,
Yeah.
right? Any guilt, any whatever for taking this time, I leave all of that on the other side of the room. Another thing this sister said to me that I think is helpful in this situation. We can visualize all our worries, all our baggage, everything, put it in a basket. You can even have a little basket, maybe write it down on a piece of paper and say, I'm going to come back to this after my 5 or 10 minutes of rest.
Mm.
Set it aside with your phone or whatever, go do your rest, and then pick it up and go on. What do you think about that?
Oh, I like that. I believe even more in turning mine off, and I do.
Ah,
I do. I turn it off or put it on do not disturb.
there you go.
And with no apology or guilt either. It's taken a while. That's a practice. Um, but again, it's bringing yourself to non-negotiable enough within yourself that you can understand that rest is something that you need and something you're going to claim.
You know what, Kate? I'm glad you said that, because it does take time to get over the guilt, especially if you're a mom, a caregiver, just a woman, right? Because somebody's always relying on you. But what is the lesson in all that? If you don't do that, it's self-sabotage and you're not serving anyone.
Absolutely. And it's self-sabotage. You're not serving anyone. And I mean, I'll bring you to sort of, I suppose, at a high level, my own story for a second. Yeah, I used to think the work, and much of what we're doing here is, it's activism, it's advocacy, education. I used to think it was all about output and producing. And, we talked about this a little earlier in the episode, but how much I could do and how many people I could help and how much I could expose, dismantle, and explain. But what I didn't realize was that I was running on fumes. So, I was pouring and pouring until I was empty. And the burnout, it wasn't just physical, and this is the risk we run. It was emotional, mental, and spiritual. So when we keep pushing like that, that's exactly what can happen. And I used to think rest was a luxury and something I could earn once the work was done. But the thing is, the work is never done. So you need to be getting your rest there. What changed for me was that healing is part of the resistance, rest is part of it, and that you and I both, Adrian, you can't speak about justice and ignore the injustice we're doing to our own bodies and spirits. Rest isn't avoidance, it is strategy and it's sustainability. And that's one I want to leave with everybody today, because from that shift, things will really open up. We've just talked, you can find spaces or create spaces, for joy, for play, for creativity, and guess what? Rest. And what will happen is that you're going to show up for yourself better. You're going to show up for the people around you better. You're going to show up for your work better. You're going to be more rooted. You're going to be more expansive and more powerful. There is so much as far as payoff for being non-negotiable about getting that rest, whatever that rest needs to look like for you. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you. And you know what? You said something that's going to lead me into our meditation, but you said it. And I was taught this in my yoga training, PIES. We need to do a PIES check-in every day. PIES, physical, intellectual, emotional, and spiritual, or you can say soul. And you touched on all of that when you were saying, when you were going full throttle, it was affecting you physically, emotionally, spiritually. So that is something that you have to check in with. And when you do that, and you do it honestly, the only answer is going to be rest.
Yeah.
Okay, I need some rest if things are out of balance. Because if you can be like Kate and scheduling those naps when they're called for, when I say schedule in, that means have the ability to stop what you're doing and listening to your body and schedule that in immediately. You're maybe not going to, when you do your PIES check-in, physical, intellectual, emotional, spiritual, you may not need rest every single day because you're rested. That can be too, right? You can actually get to the point where you get rested. And that doesn't mean that you're like, I got it. You're going to have to recalibrate, because life makes you recalibrate from time to time. But if you have that daily practice, I'm so proud of you, Kate. Is it time for meditation, or did you have more lessons for us?
I think I pretty much covered it. I didn't bring a study per se to this one, but I thought that Audre Lorde had a great quote on this one that I'd just like to share. And it is, caring for myself is not self-indulgence. It is self-preservation. And that is an act of political warfare. And I just wanted to share it because I feel that still rings so true. But yeah, as far as lessons, I was pretty much out of it. I've already quoted Tricia Hersey. So there we go.
Yeah, pick up Tricia Hersey's book, Rest is Resistance.
Yeah.
Anything by Audre Lorde is something well read. Yeah. That was a perfect way to end. And I've just got a short meditation. It's a rest meditation. Does that sound good? Because
go for it. Sounds fantastic.
Okay, so everyone just settle in. Close your eyes or lower your gaze, whichever feels better. Some people like to gaze at a candle. So maybe you want soft lights with a candle. And whatever you're sitting on, or if you're lying down, feel the support beneath you. Let your shoulders drop and relax. Check and see if you need to unclench your jaw. Access a deep breath slowly through your nostrils. When it's time to exhale, do that gently through your mouth. We'll do that a couple of more times. Inhaling slowly through your nose. Filling your lungs as completely as you can in this moment. Exhaling through your mouth. Maybe even sighing it out. Each breath is softening your precious body. And return to your normal breath as you bring awareness to your forehead. See if you can soften it. Notice your cheeks and release any tightness. Scan down through your shoulders. Let them grow heavy. And notice your chest and your stomach rising and falling. And relax your hips and your legs. Feel your entire body supported. Say out loud or to yourself, I am safe to rest. I give myself permission to pause. My body knows how to relax. Before we go, take a minute to see if there's any place that's tense and breathe into it, letting your exhale soften it. Slowly come back to the room you're in. Remember, rest is a right and it's accessible to you with your breath. Let the stillness carry you through the rest of your day. Kate, thank you so much for reminding us to rest.
Hey, pleasure's all mine. And it's a right, it's a necessity. But the thing I'd also want to add to that is also make sure you have fun figuring out what rest looks like to you. Yeah.
Amen to that, sister. Amen to that, sister. We'll see you next time.
Take care. Bye. This has been your girl, Kate Pearl. I hope you found this episode enlightening.
This is Adrienne, and I hope it's been healing.
Bye.
Bye.